Hello everybody, myself Dr. Shaikir Pratima, Ahmednagar Jilla Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, New Arts, Commerce and Science College, Ahmednagar. Basic concepts in economics. It's your the 11th standard, the first chapter as per your the HSC board. So in the last video, we have just discussed the definition of economics, meaning of economics. So in the last video, we have completed with the one of the most important, the economist, the father of economics. It's like Adam Smith and his definition. Uh, in the last video, we have discussed that definition. So today we have discussed the next, the economist. It's one of the renowned economist, the Professor Alfred Marshall. Okay, so the Alfred Marshall is a neoclassical economist. He has given the welfare oriented definition of economics in his book, The Principles of Economics. This book is very popular, which is the published in the 1890. See, in your the next year means the 12th standard, you have discussed the two the branches like the microeconomics and macroeconomics. So the microeconomics is the developed by the Alfred Marshall, Professor Alfred Marshall. So his definition is the most important. The economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that the part of individual and social action, which is the closely connected with the attainment and use of the material requisites of the well-being. See now, this definition will explain the human behavior. Means it's always support to the study of mankind. Means the people's the study is important and ordinary business of life. So he is also support to the social action, the individual and also the people's social action, which is the closely connected with the other factor. So he is explained the economics means a human behavior. So his key points is most important. The Alfred Marshall will explain some key points of our definition. So these key points of the definition is most important, and the first key point is the study of an ordinary man. Means the marshal will always support to the ordinary man. He is always study that person's behavior. So the economics is a behavioral science. Means what? The social behavior, the normal behavior, mean the consumer's behavior, the person's behavior. And he is explained the economics is a behavioral science. Means he is always study to the human behavior. Then next is the study of material welfare. Means the welfare is the means the every country tries to the provide the different types of facility for our the nation's people. So these all points will focused the Dr. Alfred Marshall. Then economics is not simply a study of wealth. Means it's not only the support to the wealth, it's not study only the wealth, it's always study to the people's welfare, otherwise the material welfare. So these are the some key points of Marshall's definition. Then we have discussed the next the economist like Lionel Robbins. He is also a renowned economist. He's explained his definition. His definition is a scarcity oriented definition of economics. So he is the most popular definition of economics. Robbins in his book the entitled like the an essay on the nature and significance of economic science. His book published in the 1932. So it's that book is mentioned the scarcity oriented definition of economics. So, economics is a science which studies the human behavior as a relationship between the ends and the scare means which have alternative uses. Means what? The basically economics is a science which study the human behavior. Throughout, we have discussed that the economics is a social science. We study the people's behavior, we study the normal consumers' behavior as a relationship between the ends and scare means what? The scare means it's a rare articles which are the alternative uses means the maximum time we have choose the different goods and services, they have provide the different alternative choices. So these will always support to the optional condition. Otherwise the people's choices is important, the consumer's choice is important. So these all things will explain the Lionel Robbins in the economics definition. So some key points of Robbins' definition is most important. So that point will explain the condition of the human behavior. Means the first is the wants are unlimited. See now, the human wants are unlimited. We all know our wants are unlimited, but we have controlled. It's no ends for that. So these point will explain the Lionel Robbins in his definition. Then next is the means are the comparatively limited. See now, the optional topic, otherwise we have to say that the substitute goods, it's a limited. So this point means are comparatively limited means the rare articles, otherwise the scarce are the limited. This part will explain the Lionel Robbins in his definition. Then wants are the gradable on the basis of priority. See now, which want is important, which is not. We always the bifurcation means we have always the explain the which want is important. See, the human wants are unlimited, but we have control. Why? Because your income will support that goods, otherwise that wants, and fulfill those wants which is affordable to your income. So these all things will explain the Lionel Robbins. Then the means have the alternative uses, means the different alternative choice is there. So these are the key points of Lionel Robbins definition. Then next come to the next point in your the textbooks related point. See, in your textbook, the one table, otherwise the one schedule is most important. On that, the schedule's heading is the do you know? Means this part is not included to your syllabus, but it's the most important to your study. If you have to study the definition of economics, if you have to study the meaning of economics, so on that time the economist definition, different economist autobiography is important. But the one of the most important thing is the thoughts and the name of economist. See now, the different thoughts and different people's lots of will be explained the concept of economics, and will be explained the definition of economics. So the first and most important is the classical school of thoughts of 18th century, means 18th century's economist. How many economists are there? There are, I think, four economists. The first is the Adam Smith. He is a father of economics. Then the David Ricardo, then the J.S. Mill, and then last is the T.R. Malthus. See, these four economists is a classical economist whose thoughts is like 18th century's thoughts. Then next, the century, the neoclassical school of thoughts like the 19th and the first half of the 20th century. So those the economists is like Alfred Marshall, then S. Pigou, then the Irving Fisher. See, Irving Fisher is like first of all he is a statistician, Irving Fisher. But we have included that those the statistician's name is also in economics because he is also explained some theorem, economical theorem. Then next is the modern school of the thought from the 20th century till date. See, those economists is like a James Keynes, then Lionel Robbins and Paul Samuelson. The modern school means the economist is a modern economics maximum time. We always we explain those people's name is a modern economist. Then these are the different factors. These are the different thoughts. These are the different economists name. So the classical, the neoclassical, and modern economists. These are the different thoughts. Means these are the different economists which is explain our theorem on that particular century. So let's come to the next point, the different branches of economics. See, their economics is just like a heading, but there are different branches of economics, like international economy, then managerial economics, then Indian economy, then public finance, then economic system. These are the lots of branches of economics. But in your textbook, they are mentioned only the two branches of economics. Sir Ragnar Frisch, he is a well-known economist, and in 1933, he is the coined the terms of microeconomics, macroeconomics. Means he is first time used two terms, the micro, these two words, the micro and macroeconomics. So that's why that question is most important. Who is used the first time these two words? This Ragnar Frisch will use these two terms, the micro and macroeconomics. These two terms are derived from the Greek word sina. The first, like a micro, the microeconomics derived from the Greek words like a micros, M-I-K-R-O-S. So this is the Greek word. Then the next is the macroeconomics derived from the Greek word macro, M-A-K-R-O-S. Micro means it's a small, individualistic, otherwise the particular. And the macro means it's a whole study, otherwise the total, Otherwise, the most important word is a aggregate. So that is called as the aggregate study. And the microeconomics, it's like a individualistic study. So let's come to the next point, the definition of the microeconomics. See now, basically, micro means what? MICRO. This word will explain the small, otherwise the individual. Okay. So the microeconomics deals with the behavior of the individual variables, means the per person's, otherwise the per consumer's behavior, such as the household, then worker, then firm, then industry, etc. See, the one of the most important definition of microeconomics will explain the Kenneth Boulding. Okay. So you have to see the definition of the Kenneth Boulding's the microeconomics definition. See, this definition will explain the microeconomics is the study of particular firm, particular households, individual prices, wages, income, individual industries, and the particular commodities. So that is called as the microeconomics. See, this is the definition of the microeconomics. Then we have discussed the most important point is the basic concepts of microeconomics. First and most important concept is the want. Before we have discussed the basic concept of want, in the Alfred Marshall's definition, we have already studied the one of the most important point is the human want. Senior Leonard Robbins will also explain the wants are unlimited, means the human wants are unlimited, but we have controlled that want. We have support those wants which is fulfill your basic needs. And then main thing is the income is the first and most important factor which is support to your want. So it is difficult to define the want in few words. In common language, want can be referred to as the need, means the which need is important. You have, first of all, you have to decide. In economics, want denotes a feeling of lack of satisfaction. See now, we never calculate the want, we never calculate the satisfaction, we never calculate. We just feel that part, the satisfaction. Okay, it's not a calculated part. Means some figure we never say that. If you are hungry and if you have to eat the any single banana, so if I have asked the one question, the how many percent you have satisfied, you never explain. So that's why the want is not a calculated part, satisfaction is not a calculated part. So this feeling enables the individual to satisfy his wants. So human wants have grown in number of two basic reasons. The first is the desire for better living due to invention and the innovations. See now, the first and most important thing is if you have to use any commodity, so how many percent commodity will satisfy your want? And the next is the rise in population. These two things will define. Means human wants had grown in number of the basic reasons. The first is the desire for better living due to invention and innovations. And next is the rise in population. So that is called as the want. See, this is the basic concept of microeconomics. In the next video, we have discussed the another part of related to the microeconomics, like the characteristics of wants. Okay. So in this video, we just discussed the two well-known renowned economist definition. First is the Professor Alfred Marshall's the definition of economics. It's like a welfare oriented definition of economics. And the next is the Leonard Robbins definition. It's like a scarcity oriented definition of economics. Then the one of the most important, the branches of economics. We just introduced the two branches, the microeconomics and macroeconomics. So today we have discussed the next and most important thing is the definition of microeconomics. Okay, I think you have to understood these all things the better. So goodbye everybody, bye, stay home, stay safe.